anyone that's been watching a Boomer Shooter podcast for a while knows that we usually cover Boomer Shooters, but any of you viewers watching right now probably has realized that this is not a Boomer Shooter doing, because Kirk decided to throw us a curveball with this one. So, Kirk, why did you choose Riven?
just to freak people out. No,
The twist
so,
is
yeah,
Riven
Riven-
is an FPS. It turns out halfway through it
It
becomes
is
an
actually.
FPS.
Yeah.
Myst
Yeah,
FPS.
you can
Let's
let
do
the
it.
books turn into shotguns eventually. You can just blast people to islands. No, so yeah, Riven was remade this year. Riven is the sequel to Myst, Myst was the best-selling PC game of the 90s of the 20th century, really, up until the Sims dethroned it.
In 2002.
And so, yes, Myst is one of my formative games. Myst was probably one of the first video games I ever played. I was talking about this with my Discord moderator. Shout out to Silver. He was like, "What are the earliest games you remember playing?" And I said, "There are two. It's the original Warcraft and Myst, and we had it on our Macintosh back in the day." And the other me and my brother loved the game. I was a little kid, I could barely understand it, but for anyone who played Myst back then, it was like, now it's this like janky slideshow, but back then it was like, oh my gosh, I'm in a real place, and it was like, this virtual world, and you tried to learn as much as you could about it. And the other thing about it too was Myst was made in Spokane, Washington, specifically Meade, Washington, which is a small town outside of it, and that's where I grew up. So it was always kind of like a prideful thing of like, oh yeah, they made Myst here. That's awesome. Cool. Like Cyan Worlds is here.
Yeah.
And then Riven was made, and for anybody who plays that series, Riven, in my opinion, is the best game in the series. Like, just story wise, what they did with it back then, it was huge. And they brought on, when they made Riven, they brought on this guy named Richard Vanderwind, Wind, I think. Wind. I always get his last name a little weird, but they brought him on. He used to be the art director for Disney Animation. He actually did the art design for Aladdin.